If you fall into the category of somebody who is proud of Jimmy Kimmel and thinks he's standing up for all of us, etc., please, for the love of God, I am begging you to watch this video. Y'all, I think this is the second time ever I have started my video with please watch this because it's so important, but it is so important and I am so concerned. And I know I'm harping on it, but it's that important that we understand this. And also, y'all, I'm making two separate points, so even if you think while you start watching this that you know where I'm going, there's a second point that is different than the first point. I looked at the comments of Jimmy Kimmel's monologue after the first night he was back, and it's all people calling him a hero and thank you for standing your ground and fighting back and etc. Even in my own comments, lots of people saying he did a perfect job and he did great, and I'm disappointed in you for criticizing him. And I need to tell you that he did not do a perfect job, and our rights are in danger because of it. And even more so, because they successfully pacified you. All of this being said, I am not saying Jimmy's evil. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not even saying that he's not one of the good guys. What I am saying is that he did not do what he needed to do to protect our speech. So let me break down in very basic terms what happened. Jimmy said X. Jimmy got told by the government that he was not allowed to say X. Jimmy got canceled for saying X. We rebelled. We held millions of dollars hostage in order to give Jimmy the right to say X. Disney folded. Jimmy got back on stage. Jimmy didn't say X. Jimmy said a bunch of other stuff. He gave a pretty good monologue. I don't think his monologue was bad. He criticized the government in other ways. He didn't say the thing that the government forbid him from saying. He didn't break the rule that the government set on his speech. He maintained that rule, which means X still remains on the list of things we cannot say. Do you think any other comedian with his size platform is going to go on stage and say X? The only evidence they have is when you say X, you lose your job. So now the government doesn't even have to officially censor us on X because the people with that size platform are going to censor themselves on X. Now one might say, well, X isn't really that big of a deal. Okay, but tomorrow it's Y, and the next day it's Z. Like, do y'all really not see how this goes? Do you think he's just gonna come out on one day and say, you're not allowed to say anything? Y'all, we're the frogs. We're the frogs in the pot, remember? So Jimmy got back on stage. Jimmy said A, B, and C, and the mob was pacified. The mob forgot about X. And dear leader doesn't have to worry about anyone saying X anymore. Jimmy has to say X. Because the government told him he cannot say X. Even if everything else he said was great, he did not say X, and therefore X remains on the list of things we cannot say. And that list is going to grow and grow and grow until we start objecting to things being put on that list. Until we say, no, you cannot tell me not to say X. In fact, I'm going to say X again. Okay, now here's the second point, and this point is also very, very, very important. Right now, this is applying to late-night talk show hosts and people with very large platforms. You think this isn't coming for us eventually? This is going to apply to us eventually. And we gave Jimmy an opportunity this week that you and I will never have. Jimmy had millions of eyes on it. Jimmy had millions of dollars being withheld, backing him. And he didn't say X. There was a consequence to Disney. If they told Jimmy that he could not say X, and Jimmy said X anyway, and they took action against Jimmy, he would have all of us backing him. He would have our money that we're withholding backing him. And because there was a consequence to Disney, they had the motivation where if they allowed him to say it and then the government came for him to fight it. They had an easy lawsuit. They would win in a heartbeat. The president literally tweeted last night that he was going to punish them for free speech. These people only speak money. And in a rare occurrence, we had the upper hand with money this week. And Jimmy didn't say X. And now when the government comes for you or I for saying X a year from now, we won't have the power to stop it. So please understand that not only is this concerning because people aren't getting what the issue is, but I would argue we're currently in a worse place than we would have been if they didn't put him back on the air. Because he had grounds for a lawsuit if they kept him off the air. We would have remained angry if they kept him off the air. But they successfully pacified many of us into thinking that we won, and therefore are going to stop paying attention, are going to get our Disney Plus subscriptions back, are going to not fight on this because we think we already won, when in reality, X has not been said since the government told us we couldn't say X. That's all.